Hey guys, welcome to this session today. And in today's session, we're going to be looking at decision tree, the rules-based learning, splits, and feature importance. Now, if you're getting started with machine learning, I just want you to understand that there's some certain key information you need to understand when you're trying to make a prediction about you're using a data set to make a prediction with respect to an algorithm. It's important for you to understand that there are some certain uh, features in data sets that might tend to exhibit more weight. So let's think about it like kind of the coefficient that we compute for in the regression model, or the regression, and also more of the logistic regression model. Yeah. So that is something that actually applies. So it's more similar to the feature importance, all right? So, but we're going to understand how the algorithm decision trees makes decisions and how it works. It's essentially that's what we're going to be talking about in today's session. So, first of all, I'm going to show you how it works. So, we're going to go to from sklearn, that's scikit-learn.tree, or ask it to import decision tree classifier. Now, also, we call the decision tree regressor, but more like decision tree regressor is used whenever we want to make predictions for continuous values, all right? But that's not the case here, because here we're more interested in what kind of labels, classifications. So what kind of model is a decision tree? Now, first of all, there are some kind of rule-based, is a rule-based classifier, all right? So it makes prediction using a sequence of if-else logic, derived from the training data. I'm going to show you what that means. I'm going to say decision tree classifier pictorial illustration. Okay, I just want to show you some things. All right, so this is what I want to talk about. Yeah. So anyone, all of them, they all work well. Okay. So I'm just going to look at this, and I think this. Okay. I think I'm cool with this. Yeah. So right here, how this works now is that there's kind of a root node, right? So from here it moves here. All right. So it kind of checks this condition. If it meets what it wants, maybe it comes here or it goes here. And possibility, it can terminate at this node. It can go here and then it can go here, terminate, or it goes here, terminates, or it goes here and continues to another node, from another node to another node. And so there's something we call max depth, which is another thing I'm going to talk about during this series. But I just kind of I'm just kind of showing this picture to create a kind of a picture in your mind on how the model makes decision. Now, this is different from the k-nearest neighbor that we previously talked about, where it chooses a kind of a label and then estimates the closest neighbors around it based on the assigned number of neighbors to choose. But in this case, it's not the case. We have to look at the tree-based system that supports the decision making before it can now make a classification of maybe a kind of classification based on the features it's been trained. Like I said, I just illustrated it has a tree structure organized like a flowchart with branching decisions that split data at each node. It's interpretable logic. Each decision path can be traced and understood, making it transparent. This is just basically what I illustrated. Now, the core idea here now is that it splits data type by type. So I want you to understand something, right? That decision tree classifier, I'm just going to go to my terminal here, right? I just imported that. Then I can now say model is going to be equals to decision tree classifier. Now, inside of this, I could pass a parameter. I could say max depth. Okay, I could say the max depth, set it at 5, or set it at 3, or at 4, depending on, or 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, depending. All right. And then I cannot say the model, sorry, I just came out with line model dot fit, and then we'll have the X train, and then we'll have the Y train. All right. So this is just kind of an example of how we fit the decision model. So, but now it works. This thing works by recursively partitioning the data into smaller or homogeneous group, just like we said here, right? You're gonna see it, this group, that group, okay? And at each step, the algorithm selects a feature or threshold that best separates the data. So the decision point is going to be based on how this particular point is standing on satisfies, what it basically has. That's in mind to decide based on the features, right? So the goal here is to create subsets where most samples belong to the same class, reducing mixing of different outcomes. Now, I'm going to talk about the structure of a decision tree, root node, the starting point containing all training data. First, decision splits the entire data set. There's also what we call internal node, where intermediate decisions, where data is split based on feature values. Each node tests on test one condition, and then leaf nodes, that's the terminal nodes containing the final predictions. So no further splits occurs here. That's what you can actually see here when it comes to terminal node or comes to terminal node here, it doesn't split further because there is no decision to make based on the max depth. And yeah, that's that for the structure of a decision tree. How the splitting works, is that we select the feature, we choose one variable. It could be age or whatever. We determine the threshold, we find the best cutoff value to split the data. Then the samples above the threshold go to one direction. Below, the ones that are below go to the other direction. So if age is greater than 50, it moves to group one, or then maybe older patients else move to younger patient. That is basically how it makes decision till it terminates. So choosing the best split is very important. Uh, the intuition is that the model searches through all the possible splits and selects the one that can create the purest groups, all right, where each group contains mostly one class. And then I'm going to let you know that a pure group means 90% of more samples belong to the same outcome. So example could be resistance or susceptible. But then what drives the choice is that it is reducing the class mixing in child nodes, maximizing separation between the outcomes. So there's something we call Gini impurity or entropy. Mostly when we're going to be performing hyperparameter tuning, you're going to be seeing how we select some of these criteria and to tune our model to get the very best split out of it. So the rules is that from the very part to logic is that it follows the route from the root to leaf, recording each decision condition, then it connects all decision along the path using logical and operators, and then it forms the rule. Final prediction is the outcome of the leaf node. The example is if age is greater than 50 and MIC is less than this and lab value is this, then it should be resistant. But this is just kind of an understanding of how its rules plays out. Now, one of the examples of this in antimicrobial resistance context is that kind of consider predicting an antibiotic resistance using patient characteristics and lab values. All right. So the initial split there is the root node to split based on antibiotic type. Then it's going to separate the different drug classes. Then the second split now is going to be the internal node that I just talked about, that tests the age. Maybe if it's less than 60, then the age may correlate with resistance pattern. Then the third split is another node that uses MIC value threshold, but it directs the measure of drug susceptibility. And then we'll have the final prediction where the leaf node assigns resistant or susceptible based on the path. Okay. So feature importance is something else because it uh, it basically kind of tells us how important some of the features that we have are. Is age showing some significant importance over gender or MIC value or whatever. So they are used near the top of the tree, right? More like closer to the root. And they tend to be more influential because they split large positions of that data early. So importance usually, how do we even calculate this importance? How much feature improves split quality? The number of samples affected by the split and the depth at which each feature applies. So some of the important things I want you to understand from the decision tree rule-based learning is that decisions are made through interpretable if-else logic than mirroring clinical reasoning. So here it's going to say, okay, if it satisfies this decision, move to this node, or else it moves to that other node. All right? Then it comes, okay, if it satisfies it, then terminate, or else it moves to this node. Then if it satisfies it, maybe probably moves here and terminates, and then terminates as well. If it also satisfies this particular terminal, all right? So that is what we need to understand. And again, there's what we call recursive splitting, where data is partitioned step by step in homogeneous groups using feature threshold. We're going to illustrate all of this in our hands-on end-to-end projects. And also interpretable paths, right? Each prediction can be traced back through specific codes, decision rules. And then there's something we call the feature importance, right? Where the variables near the top drive predictions and reveal which factors most influences the outcomes. There's what we call transparency, right? Unlike black box models, decision trees provide clear logic that help professionals can do what? Validate. So these are actually very important aspects of anybody that is getting started, maybe using the decision tree model, where you need to understand how splitting works, using choosing one variable and then determining threshold, creating two groups, and then understanding the logic behind it, and then getting insights on the structure because we have what we call the root node, the internal nodes, and the leaf nodes. All right, and also how the splitting happens data type by type, and also what decision tree is. So it kind of swiped back to this, and this is that for decision trees in machine learning. I hope this session makes a whole lot of sense to you, and of course, definitely I'll be looking forward to seeing you on the next one. Thank you very much for your time. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.